Hello everyone and welcome to another Rise of Kingdoms video. This is Dragothian here, and today I wanted to give you the secret, the best way, the inside scoop, all the details on how to be top placement in Sunset Canyon, and by extension, Lost Canyon, which you'll be in whenever you're in any flavor of the KVK version that you're in, whether it's the old school version or whether it's the sweet, new, shiny Light and Darkness version. So the rules are all the same. Okay, you've got your 5 armies versus somebody else's 5 armies. And then you're going to battle it out, and then the best 5 pairs win. Well, what's common between the top tier players that are always at the top? And of course, you have to think about equipment. Equipment is a thing, but even with basic equipment that most people can get without really paying anything for equipment, I don't personally put any money into the equipment bundles or anything like that, so I don't pay to win when it comes to that kind of thing. So really it's about the commanders that you use and the pairings that you use, because you've only got 5 and you only got 5 pairs versus 5 pairs, so you can't swarm somebody, you can't overwhelm them with numbers. You have to be strategic on how you make your pairings. So I'm going to give you the secret, and it takes you from good to great. Now, if you're just starting out and you're a 5 million player or a 10 million player, you're not going to be able to do this because you're going to need to have maximum tech. You're going to need to be at least, up there on the war tech for your own personal research. And also being in a decently teched out alliance is also going to help. As you can see here, I'm number 1 on the list right now. And Low is not even one of the main 2 fighting alliances. They're missing some war technology, and I don't have any buffs. I don't have any titles or anything. So it can be done. It's just a matter of the pairings. So I'm going to go into the pairings really quick. I want to give you the ones that are must-have. And again, if you want to be in top 5, top 10, you've got to have these commanders, or else you're not going to be there. It's just as simple as that, because the people who do have them are going to use them, and they're going to beat you every time in Sunset Canyon. So let me show you what I mean. So for instance, this one here, this was against the top tier, and my pairings are pretty standard across the board. This is what the kind of cookie cutter for the most part, although I've done a little bit of adjustment. This is kind of cookie cutter on my side. So on the left side here is my leaders of my army groups, and I'll tell you what the seconds are with them. And then on the right, again, this is starting to become another way to do it, although, again, I beat it. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's really just about positioning as well, which we'll go into. But my main army on the outside of the square of armies is going to be Charles Sun Tzu, and then I've got Genghis with Saladin. I've got Richard with Alex. I've got Constantine with Joan, and the key to the whole thing, the key to the entire thing, believe it or not, is Aethelflaed. And I almost always put Aethelflaed with YSG. Now, why is that? Why is Aethelflaed the key to this whole thing, right? Well, I'll show you. So when you're looking at Aethelflaed, again, usually on this channel I preach single troop type armies. That's the name of the game. And in real world fighting, that's the case. Aethelflaed's still really good open field as well, but different roles for different commanders. However, in Lost Canyon and Sunset Canyon, Aethelflaed is a beast. You have got to get her to level 60, and you've got to max her out. Once you do that, you are a Sunset Canyon and Lost Canyon beast, I'm telling you, because here's what happens. Because you're using tier 3 commanders, stats mean everything. And on top of that, debuffs are even more critical. So when you've got this debuff with damage factor AoE, which again, AoE is a huge thing, attack, defense, and health reduction by 30%, AoE, big fan. The key to this entire thing, though, is going to be this. You got a 20% damage bonus for using 3 unit types. And let's say you pair Aethelflaed up with YSG second. You can do 98% archers, 1% cav, and 1% infantry. And that's considered 3 unit types. However, you're getting the bulk of the stuff that you're getting from YSG's bonuses towards your army. It's not necessarily the full bonuses, but it's close enough. And then here's where it really gets interesting. Looking at Aethelflaed's expertise. Deal an extra 20% damage to enemies who have been slowed. Well, guess what Aethelflaed does? She slows stuff. So counterattack damage reduced by 20%. That's also really good. When actively attacking, you have a 10% chance to reduce the movement speed of enemy cav by 50% and the movement speed of other troops by 30%. Slow effect lasts 3 seconds. That's one. Now also in the talents, and again I'll show you how I set this up to maximum effect. For support tree, there's Cage of Thorns. After using an active skill, reduces march speed, which is a slow, of nearby enemy troops by 25% when maxed out. Again, 3-second duration, 5 targets. Well, how many targets do we have in Sunset Canyon, Lost Canyon? 5. Okay, so now it should be starting to come together. So here's why I have Constantine as a primary. He has Cage of Thorns, and I put him in front of Aethelflaed. So what that means is Constantine will come in. He will start generating rage. He will, once he uses his primary skill, which is this guy right here, which is also good, you're going to decrease the target's attack by 40%, and you're going to reduce the damage taken, and they're going to snare everything. On the back end, Aethelflaed will come in, and she's like, okay, cool, everything's slowed. I'm going to hit it with this, debuffing it further. And then I'm going to combine the 20% here on the 4th skill with the 20% in the expertise, and then fire off a max damage YSG AoE, which is also 50% skill damage buffed because of YSG's 4th skill. And heavens forbid, his 2nd skill also procs. He pretty much knocks down everything to half health right off the bat. So this is what the top tier elite Sunset Canyon, Lost Canyon folks are doing. This is why they're consistently at the top. This is why if you were watching the channel during the entire KBK last season, our kingdom was 1 through 20 pretty much consistently, with a few people from other kingdoms doing the same thing that we're doing, and we were just battling them off out of the top 20. I think, again, I ended up finishing top 5, something in that neighborhood with my main account in the last KBK. And again, this is the reason. You need tankiness, okay? Tankiness is critical. That's why I've got Richard and Alex as a frontline infantry group. And then behind that, I'm going to have Genghis Saladin or Genghis YSG, depending on what I pair with Aethelflaed. Either of those will work just fine. And again, if I have YSG second, Genghis YSG is going to be firing off skills nonstop really quickly too. And if I have Genghis Saladin, again, all the tankiness and the debuffing, if I'm going up against a Richard, will also help. So again, you have the tank up front with Charles, Sun Tzu, Richard, Alex, and then Constantine Joan providing debuffs, buffs, all AoE. And then also nuke. Almost everything nuke-based I've got is AoE. It's Sun Tzu, it's YSG, it's Aethelflaed. Those are the commanders that you want to have in Sunset Canyon and Lost Canyon. That's what your bread and butter is going to be. Let's see if I can give you a replay. I believe it'll let me do it. Yeah. So, again, this is against Attila. That's not really normal. Let me do... Yeah, that's not normal either. See, I lost a couple too. I think this one's kind of normal. Yeah, this is pretty standard. So Guan's starting to really kind of filter in there as well. I'm going to show you a replay. Look how I've got my positioning done. Positioning's the other thing too. So I've got my Richard and Alex off on the side. Really, usually I've got Charles Sun Tzu out to the side, and I've got Richard and Alex on the bottom, buffing everything and healing everything and slowing everything. But it just ended up working that way on this one. I actually misplaced it. But as you can see, so once that AoE starts firing off, look at the damage. Look at all the damage it's pumping out AoE based inside of all this stuff. It's just nonstop AoE. Richard is melting. You've got Edward melting, Guan melting, and Genghis also melting. And I've still got all 4 of my guys pretty much up except for Constantine, which he's tanking 4 armies. He's going to go down at some point. But by the time he goes down, I've already knocked out 3 of their players, and the other two are fairly squishy, so those are going to get mowed down fairly quickly as well. This is what I'm talking about. This is the secret. As you can see, Aethelflaed is still up and running. Charles is still up and running. That's how that works. Let me see if I can find one more standard one that... Yeah, this is exactly a standard... No, I'm sorry. I beat the crap out of that guy. Sorry. Okay, this is standard. So this is standard versus standard. I'm going to go ahead and replay this one again as well. I'm not sure why I've got Richard up top. I usually have Charles up top. I'm not quite sure why I have Richard off to the side, but I do on this one. Usually I've got Charles, Sun Tzu tanking the 4 armies, and I've got the other 4 down here doing their work. But for some reason, I decided not to do that on these other ones. I might have just mis-set up my army. But as you can see, again, I've got AoE buffs, AoE debuffs, AoE damage all in this one cluster. And because of Aethelflaed, Aethelflaed is the key here. Just debuffing and raining 10,000, 12,000 nukes down constantly non-stop. You've got 100 to 120 depending on if you have a leadership commander inside of your army. That's literally 12 to 15% of the army size every single time that nuke goes off, plus the AoE from Aethelflaed as well. It just keeps firing off. I mean, it's just non-stop. And as you can see, again, everything is in red from the opposing team because of all those AoEs and because of the debuff and the slow debuff and all that stuff. So here you go. This is exactly what you need to do if you want to be in the top 10, top 20 for Lost Canyon, certainly top 10 inside of Sunset Canyon in your own kingdom. I hope this was helpful for you all, guys. I will see you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one. Take care. Have a good one.